These are my two baby dragons, Gerald and Geraldina. I also have a third one named Foreskin. But today I want to breed these two because of a few reasons. The first one being population control. Because if you were to buy a red-eyed skink from the internet, there's about a 90% chance that it was caught in the wild and sold to you. This results in a loss of population, significant stress, and a weakened immune system, which makes them more prone to illness. So compared to captive bred animals, they're just more accustomed to human interactions, which makes them more suitable for a pet.
Are you hungry? Good.
So to start the build, I got a medium-sized enclosure. In this tank, it's going to be about 75% land and 25% water. Skinks are most comfortable when there's a small body of water. And it's actually pretty cool because they can hold their breath for about 10 to 15 minutes. Now that it's all dried, I'm gonna see if it'll hold water. Oh, I think we're good. Alright, first thing we'll be adding in our breeding enclosure will be these rocks. These rocks just soak up any unnecessary water. I'm also going to put soil on top of the rocks, but I have to create a barrier so they don't mix. And what we have to add next is our soil, and it's actually a very important mix. As you can see, I have an assortment of items. The first one is a lump charcoal. It's 100% natural, zero additives. Next, we have some sphagnum moss, cocoa fiber, soil. Oh my god. Guys, I was pouring out this soil, and there's a beetle. I think it's a mealworm beetle. These are my mealworms. I'm feeding the beetles to the mealworms. They're gonna die and suffer. Time to mix. Alright, we're just gonna go ahead and spread this around evenly. You can see that we have a decently sized layer of dirt, and that's because these skinks like to burrow and they'll actually lay the eggs inside the dirt. There's actually a lot of springtails in this dirt already. I believe these are tropical pink springtails, and I believe they've just been breeding inside of this dirt. This dirt was reused from another tank, so I guess they've been multiplying. Alright guys, if you've watched my abalone video, here's a little update on them. They're actually doing really good. I've been feeding them a lot. They are nocturnal, so they don't really do much in the daytime. I just figured out we have a slight problem. So as you can see, this piece of glass, it's pretty tall. When our baby dragon goes in the water, there's got to be a way for him to like latch on to like some rocks. Before I added any sort of rock, I put in a filter to filter the water. Then I collected a few rocks that I have outside. But for the bottom of the tank, I went with medium-sized gravel. And once that was all filled up, I got this small rock to put against the glass. Alright guys, the base is pretty much now complete. Now for the land part, we just need to make some hides. So right now my skinks are in my little temporary home I made them. A lot of the stuff that's in here, I'm gonna transfer into the tank. And oh, as you can see, there is foreskin. I managed to get a good piece, so I'm gonna go ahead and plant this. Alright guys, for the hides, I have these PVC pipes that I cut in half. And these will basically just lay on the ground. I'll cover them with dirt. Adding the dirt on top of these pipes definitely made it a lot more aesthetically pleasing. Alright guys, so I got two hides. There's an entrance here and an entrance here, and they go all the way back inside here. I also put the stick here somewhere where they can also hide. Now that our ecosystem is pretty much done, I'd like to make this a bioactive ecosystem. All that means is that it will have isopods and springtails. They help the soil stay clean from any unwanted waste. In this container, I've been breeding dwarf isopods. They're basically just mini roly-polies. Another one. I basically just dumped the whole container in, and over time they should multiply. Okay, now that the isopods are inside now, I want to add a little bit more springtails. And if you are making an ecosystem like this, I am selling a bunch of these little springtails. I do sell them on eBay, free shipping by the way. Skinks like high humidity, so I sprayed it off with some water. They like it best around 85% humidity. I moved my ecosystem to my new ecosystem cabinet area. So we are now going to fill this with water. Oh shit. Guys, I'm gonna plug this filter in. There you go, there. I wanted to make a hide in the water area, and underneath the stick I think they will love. Most of the time these skinks prefer to be on the ground level, where they like to hide underneath trees and rocks. Now that our tank is fully complete, it was time to find our little dragons. We are going to find Gerald and Foreskin. Actually, I don't want his name to be Foreskin anymore. Here is, this is Foreskin. He's nice and fat. I was also looking for Gerald, and he was hard to find, but he was buried underneath this dirt. I'm putting him inside of a bucket because I want to do a little checkup on him as well. Alright. I think this is Gerald, because Gerald's the most chillest. Okay, we have all 3 of them in this little bucket. You can see this one is fully underwater right now. So for the breeding enclosure, I'm going to get Gerald and Geraldina together. You might be wondering what we will be doing with. First of all, we're going to change her name, and then second of all, we're gonna make her her own home. It was now finally time to put Gerald and Geraldina in their breeding enclosure. We're gonna put them in the water. Right, so now let us get Geraldina. Most of the time they stay still like this and they honestly don't really move. So just as I thought, one of them went underneath this stick right here. This is pretty cool because if they want to hang out in the water, they'll know that there's a little hide here. Here you can see the spikes on Gerald's back, which is for protection, but this time they won't need protection. About 5 minutes later, I checked in on them and both of them were actually submerged underwater. This is actually a tactic that they have to escape from predators if anything tries to eat them. If you guys have watched my previous episode of the Dragon series, I asked you guys what to name the 3rd one, and this comment right here got the most likes. Geraldine. So I've decided to name her Geraldine. So we now have Gerald, Geraldina, and Geraldine. Alright guys, I'm gonna get Foreskin. As I make his home, he's gonna have to chill in his temporary home I made him. Geraldine's new home is basically going to be the same thing as Gerald and Geraldina's breeding enclosure. I really hope that Geraldine won't feel lonely just because she's all by herself. If you think I should get Geraldine a new partner, comment down below and I'll read through them. But just like the other enclosure, this tank will have about 3 hides. Using the rest of the plants from the other enclosure, I put it inside here. But then I put a cool looking stick to add a little bit more structure. And just like that, Geraldine's new tank is finally complete. This tank features 1 hide in the corner, 1 underneath his water bowl, another underneath the stick, but the lug and plants act as cover as well. Right next to Gerald and Geraldina, I put Geraldine's enclosure right next to them. Another beetle. Let's torture him. The Springtales will eat you. Okay, so I put Gerald and Geraldine's enclosure back on the couch. It has been about a week. The water level has evaporated a bit and turned a little bit brown. As I was searching around, I saw that somebody was inside of the water hide. So good to see that somebody is enjoying the water hide. I wanted to see how the other one was doing, so I tried looking for him. There's somebody. So the checkups have been done. I'm gonna put Gerald and Geraldine's tank back in the spot. And now finally, what you guys all been waiting for, the breeding. But if you want to watch breeding that bad, there's other sites that you can do that at. But in order for these guys to breed, they must be in a comfortable area. But most importantly, we need to give them time. In the span of a year, they're able to lay 2 to 6 eggs, but then those eggs will take 6 to 8 weeks to hatch. But since it takes so long, I feel like that's why there's not as many captive bred skinks available. But I'm not going to wait that long for this video, but instead I will make another video when they hatch. But please let me know if I should get Geraldine a boyfriend. If you've bought my merch, I want to say thank you so much. That helps my channel a lot. But if you want to check them out, I literally only have like a few left. So make sure to pick one up before they're all gone.